It must be hard to leave Menlo when you have to get deployed, doesn't it?
Yeah. But luckily my mom keeps her.
Oh,
so luckily when we went to D.C., my mom and then her other grandma kept her.
Oh, okay. Did she miss her mommy?
I got to talk to her every night, so that was nice.
FaceTime
Yeah.
or whatever? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we got to FaceTime. So.
That's cool.
I'm Nancy Barker. I am the Executive Director of the Rogersville Hawkins County Chamber of Commerce. Then my second job is Hawkins County Commissioner. And just want to thank you all for coming out today on this joyous occasion to honor the 278 Armored Cavalry Regiment. And it's my honor to be a part of this recognition program today to honor these soldiers, and it's way overdue. So just want to tell you to appreciate that at the moment's notice they're willing to leave their families, their homes, and fight for whether it's on the home front or whether it's on the foreign soil, and just to protect our freedom and make sure that we get to enjoy all the things that we take for granted. Not only do you make us proud as Hawkins Countyans, but to make the whole state of Tennessee proud. Tennessee's known as a volunteer state, and you all definitely are the epitome of volunteers and the wonderful things that you do. So thank you so much. Now, I'm going to pause right here, and I think we're going to call y'all to attention. Sorry, guys. So, that's your job. Just call them to attention. And if everyone else would please stand and remain standing, we'll do the invocation and the place to the American flag. At this time, I'd like to introduce Sheriff Lonnie Lawson to lead us in the invocation.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you in the great name of Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for all you're doing for us. And Lord, we know that you're at work. Your word says so. We ask you, Lord, just continue to bless the United States of America. Lord, we just ask you to be with each one that's here, each family represented here, each home. Lord, we ask you special blessings on these soldiers that defend us, defend you, defend the flag, our country, that risk their lives every day to serve us. And we can thank them enough, Lord. Ask you, Lord, just to bless them, watch over them, keep them safe, and Lord, let them feel your presence. Let them feel you, your spirit, your favor, in their time of need. Ask you, Lord, go with us through the remainder of this day, with each one that's here as we travel. Lord, we just cannot give you all the praise and glory for everything you've done for us. You're going to. We know everything that's going on. You're in control. You made it. You see it. It's all in your name. Christ Jesus. Amen.
And at this time, we'll have Mr. Bill Hewitt come up and lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
You're going to be sitting at, we'll go ahead and seat them, and then if you'll seat the troops. And I also want to recognize a group that the Project Serve Our Soldier volunteers. And these are these lovely ladies over here in the red. And these ladies are kind of like you guys. They're willing to jump up at the last minute on a moment's notice and make sure that if there's a need that you have and they can provide it, they take care of it for you. And you know, it doesn't matter whether it's providing snacks for you to take on a trip or whether it's sending boxes overseas when you're serving on foreign soil. And, you know, sometimes it's just sharing a hug and a prayer. And so I certainly want to thank them. What they have done for this community has been astounding. A lot of them are seamstress, and they have made, I think the total, and I always confuse this, 15,070 masks for Hawkins County when we could not get supplies from FEMA. And they just stepped up. We had a company in our community that provided the material, and they stepped up and provided masks for all their frontline workers, our police, our EMS, our rescue squad. And, you know, you can never just thank them enough, and I admire them so much because I have absolutely no talents at all in sewing, and the things that they have done has just been amazing. And they also are one of the ones that do the quilts of Dolly. Miss Lena Hewitt is very active in doing that, and we have been very honored to recognize a lot of our veterans in this community with the quilts of Dolly. And, you know, some of them, we just barely got into them, but you don't know what it meant to them. When you see the look on their face and the appreciation that they have, it's well worth it. Lena, thank you for doing it. With that being said, I'm going to introduce you to, they call her their fearless leader, our director, Ms. Corky Words, who is kind of puts all this stuff together and kind of points and looks and says and does, you do this, you do that, and if you don't do it, you're going to answer to her. So she's going to tell you a little bit about the program for the Project Serve Our Soldiers and the volunteers, and so unselfishly, as you all do, serve our community and our country. So,
thank you, Nancy. I'm Corky Ward, the director of Project Serve Our Soldiers. And yeah, sometimes I am the commander over here. But I just wanted to say to you, I want to share with you what the goal and the mission of Project Serve Our Soldiers is. It is to provide comfort to Hawkins County actively serving military personnel and their families on foreign and domestic soil through fundraising efforts and donations. We also help to meet Hawkins County community needs, which Nancy's just mentioned, independently or in conjunction with other county organizations. And at some point, I know you're going to talk about the Knights of Columbus, but they're also here and they're hand in hand with us. Project Serve Our Soldiers does exactly what we say we do. We serve our soldiers. And what a better way to do that than what we're doing today. It's nice to stand here with Hawkins County as we honor the 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment of the Tennessee National Guard, that they assist, they support, and protect the United States of America. And we just don't know how to thank you enough. So thank you for allowing us to host this event for you today.
thank you, Corky. We certainly appreciate all that she does, and just to mention the Knights of Columbus, which Will Hewitt is a very active member of, has done a wonderful job in assisting us in handing out masks, going and picking up supplies, as Mr. Jim Wirt has also done. So we certainly appreciate everything that they have done in helping us to make a lot of the projects that we have worked on possible. So thank you guys. Our next speaker is the Honorable Jim Sayles. He is the mayor of the town of Rogersville, and he certainly knows a little bit about community service, as he has served our community as mayor for over 40 years. Mayor Sayles.
Thank you, Nancy. I don't stand too good. Recently had a Achilles heel rupture on me. I'm doing pretty good just to stand. But I would like to say this. The Board of Mayor and Alderman and the citizens of Rogersville want you to know how proud we are that you are here and that we can count on you. So if there's anything we can do, don't hesitate to holler at us. Okay? That's about all. I said make it short, I'm gonna make it short. Thank you.
He's not your typical politician. And on behalf of the town of Rogersville, as a chamber director, I want to also thank you all. There's a lot of events that we host, and y'all have been so gracious to help us with those. Our trunk or treat, our Heritage Days, they've all been kind of slowed down a little bit because of the pandemic, but we appreciate your presence there, and I've always noticed that when you all are there, that especially the young people come up and look at you all, so you're a great role model for our community. So Thank you so much. Our next speaker is, it's my pleasure to introduce Diana Harshberger. She is the Republican nominee for the 1st Congressional District, Tennessee seat. She is going to be the replacement, if everybody doesn't know, for Congressman Phil Rowe, who was a great advocate for our veterans when he was serving in Congress. So we appreciate her taking time from the campaign trail. We kind of gave her short notice, and she just said, clear my calendar, I'll be there. So we certainly appreciate you doing that. So Diane.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Listen, you don't know what an honor it is to address one lady. Is that what we've got? Or we got 2? And the rest of you fine young men. I want you to know that I appreciate your sacrifice, and that's what it is. Because you sacrifice your time from your families, from your vocation, just to go be the guardians of freedom. That's what you are. You're heroes to the rest of us. I want to thank you for your service. You know, every time we walk by one of these fine men or women, we need to thank them, no matter where we're at. Because you see what's going on in America today. All they want to do, and I've talked to Ronnie about everything they want to do to defund our law enforcement. I understand that you fellas went up there, and ladies went up there to protect the White House. Am I correct? Man, I want to tell you this. If they ask my opinion on who I want to come protect the White House when I'm up there, I'm going to call for you guys and gals. Because it's an honor to be chosen as a Republican nominee for U.S. Congress, and I want you to know I'll always have your back. You don't have to worry. Dr. Rose done a fantastic job with Veterans Affairs, and I told him, as I've told everybody on this campaign trail, that I'm just going to pick that baton up and go even further. And there's a lot of things. I talked to the gentleman, the CEO over Wounded Warriors the other day, and he has some things that he would like for me to push as well. So I want you to know that I'm there to support you. I appreciate your service and your sacrifice and your leadership. I always taught my son, raising him, he's 35 now, respect the people who protect us. And that's what I want, and that's why I raise my hand. Because I have 2 young grandsons, 3 and 5, and I want them to understand how important it is to live in a country that is free. Because freedom isn't free, is it? No. Nobody knows, you guys know. So I just want you to know that I appreciate your service, and I'm here, and you have access to me. I'm approachable. Anything you need, doesn't matter. You make sure that I know about it, okay? So thank you, fellas and ladies.
And it's great to have you in Hawkins County. Okay, at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Major Lawrence Larry Baldwin, Executive Officer of the 4th Squadron 278 ACR, Tennessee Army National Guard, who is headquartered in Mount Carmel, Tennessee. Major.
Hello, everyone. First, a quick thank you to all of our local, state, county, and city representatives. Thank you very much for your participation with this event today. We're very happy to have you here. For my newest friend, Ms. Porter, very nice meeting you and to establish our relationship, which we're going to be going toward, as well as your team and the other members of your team, expanded group that are working with us. Very nice to have you here. Most importantly, to the soldiers of this unit, go ahead and take this off now that I'm 6 feet away. You, ladies and gentlemen, of course, are the beneficiaries of today's meeting. This is all for you, and I'm very, very happy to be associated not only with this unit, but also with the participation of this unit. As some of you may or may not know, being the executive officer of this squadron, it's a very interesting role. I see a lot of folks, talk to a lot of people, and geographically, we span a little over 3 hours from tip to tip, from my farthest unit to this unit, as well as my headquarters up in Mount Carmel. And it's very nice to be able to come today, share this this fellowship as well as this presentation, because it really does represent a good representation of the hard work of what you guys have done, the partnerships that you've established not only with your families and your employers, but also with the local people who we serve with in this great area. So I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to all. And I work with you and I serve with you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Major. Appreciate it. It's also my pleasure to introduce Colonel John Brad Boland, commander of the 278 Armored Regiment from the Tennessee Army National Guard, and he is headquartered in Knoxville.
Hey, good afternoon, folks. Y'all are putting a lot of pressure on me with these very, very short comments because we are here today. I'm getting ready to talk about my most favorite thing in the world, and that's the 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment. First, Representative Hicks, Mayor Sayles, distinguished guest troopers of the regiment. It is my privilege to be here today. My name, you already mentioned, is Colonel Boland. I'm the commander of the 278th ACR, which is headquartered in Knoxville, Tennessee. So it's always good to be back in Rogersville, Tennessee. I'm actually from right up the road in Bristol, born and raised in Bristol, and I went to ETSU a long, long time ago. I mentioned earlier this morning that college was the best 6 years of my life. But anyway, I also served in Kingsport as the executive officer. I used to do Larry's job. And as part of that, I live in Dandridge now, so every day I would drive past the armory here in Rogersville on my way home. And this is a special place to me. And these are some very special soldiers as they support my reconnaissance squadron, which is right up the road here. And actually, this is just a portion of them today, because many of those guys are out on range supporting other operations today and answering that call one more time. So I appreciate you guys being here today to honor them. Gorky, we appreciate what you're doing with your program, or actually it's the latest program. We appreciate not only this event today, but the support that you give these soldiers, because we all know that these guys can't do it by themselves. It takes a community that will really work with these soldiers and work with their families and work with their employers. When I look at troopers of the regiment, I kind of see a three-legged stool. I see the trooper, I see the family, and I see the employer. And of course, surrounding all of that is the people that live there. So, real briefly, I'll kind of tell you about the 278th ACR, and then I'll tell you about the mission that we did and how these guys participated. And then, of course, we can talk very briefly about the results. First, the 278th ACR is one of 5 Armored Brigade combat teams in the National Guard, one of 16 in the Army. It is the decisive unit of action in the Army, the Brigade Combat Team. Our particular brigade has 87 tanks, about 138 Bradleys, which are big infantry carriers, supported by artillery, about 18 pieces of artillery, and we have about 4,000 soldiers stretching all the way from Mount Carmel to Memphis. We also have one of our battalions is actually in Pennsylvania, and we're proud to have those guys with us, our Pacesetter Squadron, which is the Combined Arms Battalion. Very proud of the unit, very proud of the men who serve in it, and it is a very high tempo unit, ABCT, ours specifically, and most of these soldiers give on average, now these are traditional soldiers, you guys are traditional soldiers, that's the old 2 days a month, 2 weeks a year, you guys believe that? No, you don't, because most of these guys do on average about 84 days a year, so I'm very proud of them. In this particular mission, the operation that we're being recognized for today, Operation Dolly Madison, and I'll let you kind of think about the historical context of that, going to D.C. The Operation Dolly Madison actually came on the wake of, we had just responded to some tornadoes and stuff down around the Cookville area, and we were working through that problem as a regiment. Some of these guys may have participated in that, and then the COVID-19 pandemic hit. So these folks, some of them are probably still on duty today in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, in the midst of that, everyone's following the news. You know what's happening. Civil unrest pops up one in our capital in Nashville. A tragedy down there. One of our courthouses set on fire. Fortunately, our governor was very proactive. We had National Guardsmen, not these guys, but National Guardsmen that helped in that effort to kind of minimize that and enable the future peaceful protest. And then, of course, you know what was happening in Washington, D.C. So these soldiers, we had the stuff going on in Washington D.C. The President of the United States asked for 5,000 soldiers to be in D.C. prior to 7 June, which was supposed to be a million-man march. And we got the call on about the 4th of June, and these folks were actually we got the call on the 2nd of June, and by the 4th of June, the 278th ACR had 1,000 soldiers show up in D.C. Tennessee was the largest contributor of soldiers in support of that operation, civil unrest, and it was these volunteers right here that helped fill that bill. We used a squadron from Mount Carmel as our base of operation, a squadron from Cookville. A squadron is typically around 700 folks. We knew that everyone could not just leave. They were business owners, whatever. So we had all volunteer force, 1,000 folks. I think we had about 988 Army guys and 12 Air Force folks. So I'm real proud of them. What was really most amazing about that whole operation was how quickly these guys could leave their home, square away things with their employers, and get on the bus and go to D.C. They had no idea when they left how long we'd be there. They just knew we had a job to do. We got on the ground up there. I remember I was one of the first planes off. I go into this huge armory where the D.C. guards trying to figure out what to do with all these people. And I had about 100 guys with me, and they're like, "Man, you got a lot of folks. What are we going to do with all you?" And I said, "I don't know, but you better figure it out fast because we got 900 on the way." So we all arrived in about 6 hours. But anyway, I'm very proud of these guys. The results of that, you all know, we went up there, we did our mission. The 278th ACR actually was the main effort. We were in a place called Lafayette Square. Many of you have been there, very beautiful place, just north of the White House. And that's where we spent our June the 7th, from about 2 o'clock in the morning to about 2 o'clock the next day, just to enable the peaceful protest. The protests were very peaceful. We actually were kind of out of sight, out of mind. We were ready up there if we needed to do anything. We were well trained, but of course you know how it shook out. The protests were peaceful, and just a few days later, we were able to return home. So, in short, too late, right? I'm very, very, very proud of these guys. I talk about them all day long. I love these soldiers. I love this community. Rogersville has always done a great job supporting this unit. And we want to continue that because it's important that we keep the strength up in this unit, in order that, bottom line is to keep it, because we're all very proud of our National Guard. So the 278 has 43 locations in the state. You guys are one of them. We're proud of that. I appreciate everybody inviting us to this today, and certainly recognize these soldiers. It's very special to me, and I'm very grateful. So,
Okay, our next speaker really doesn't need an introduction, but he knows a little bit about serving this community also. He served on the Hawkins County Commission for, I cannot remember how many years, 10 long years. And I've been on it for the last 5, so I certainly can understand. But he has always been active and working in his community. He also serves on the Tennessee House of Representatives. He has represented Hancock and Hawkins County for the 109th, 110th, 111th General Assembly from the 9th District, and we are so proud of him and everything that he has done. We talk about if you need something, he's the guy to go to. You can even call him. We try not to let him out, but we got a little nickname for him that he earned when he was very young. So if you ever need Bubba, you just call him. All right. With that being said, Representative Gary Hicks has a special presentation for the 278. Gary.
Take that thing off. First of all, listen, it's an honor, and this is certainly long overdue, so it is certainly an honor to be standing here in front of this distinguished group of men and women. I'll say this, last night, I was very honored to get to go to the presidential debate. That was the first one that I ever did to. So I was sitting there, and one of the topics that came up, of course, as it usually does, was our national defense. And of course, knowing that I had this event today, and it was hard for me to not think about, last night, that doesn't happen without you all. And so I want to say a heartfelt thank you. And I hope you all do understand that this is for you all. This is for us as a community to simply say thank you. And for you to know that while sometimes it may seem like it's very unthankful, we are very thankful that you all have answered the call. I went back and looked, and I guess it was back in the 1800s, the war with Mexico, is when they asked for Tennessee to send, a couple thousand troops, and I think we ended up sending 38,000 Tennesseans. And so I can tell you that volunteerism is alive and well today, sitting in this room. So I do want to say thank you very much. Corky, thank you. Thank you for organizing this, you and the ladies and the community, everybody that is everybody. It's taking everybody. Food City, thank you for being here. I tell you, it's just it's a humbling experience when you go to Nashville and you represent folks just as yourself. And so I want to let you know that I always want to be that voice because I want you to know that you're always at the forefront of what I do because you are our community. You certainly are. So I want to say thank you. So I guess we'll get into the presentation now, if that's okay. And I'm going to ask, if it would be all right as I do this, I'm going to ask the Colonel if you'll come back up here. I appreciate you. Anybody else who want to come up?
A couple local boys here, man.
And since the mayor was short and sweet, he yielded his time to me, so I'm going to read this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this proclamation says, whereas our nation was conceived by individuals who were willing to sacrifice their personal safety and concerns to ensure our individual and collective freedom. And the volunteer state is especially proud to be the home of so many valiant men and women who have performed above and beyond the call of duty. And whereas many fine and honorable traditions have arisen from the deep wellspring of honor and bravery possessed by Tennesseans, there is no finer tradition than that which gave Tennessee its nickname. And whereas established in 1887 by an act of the 45th General Assembly, the Tennessee National Guard is a dedicated collection of the finest men and women this state has to offer. Whereas the soldiers of the 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment of Tennessee Army National Guard are especially deserving of our deepest admiration and thanks for their valiant service. And whereas headquartered in Knoxville, the 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment includes units located across Tennessee, including in the communities of Kingsport, Rogersville, and Greenville, who have performed their duties with honor, distinction, and profound regard for the importance of their roles. Whereas their service stands as an enduring example of all the characteristics that have ensured the continued freedom of our nation and the preservation of its ideals over the course of our history. And whereas it is appropriate that we recognize the brave and noble members of the 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment as they have made untold and innumerable personal sacrifices to preserve the liberties we enjoy today and will continue to cherish for generations to come. Now therefore, and again this was passed by the Senate, I, Randy McNally, Speaker of the Senate of the 111th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee, in conjunction with the undersigned, do hereby proclaim that we honor and commend the members of the 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment, Tennessee Army National Guard, for their valiant service for our state and nation. Gentlemen, thank you all very much. With that said, I would like to present the proclamation.
Demask for a second. There you go.
Don't breathe.